All right, let's talk about making your money work harder for you. Today, we are diving into the absolute best high-yield savings accounts for 2026. We're going to cover the interest rates, those juicy sign-up bonuses, and, maybe most importantly, the little catches hidden in the fine print that you really need to know about. So let's get right into it.
But first, let me ask you something. Is it possible your bank account is actually costing you money? That sounds crazy, right? But for millions of people, the answer is a big, fat yes. We're talking hundreds of dollars a year just vanishing.
Just look at this. Right now, in 2026, a lot of the giant traditional banks are still paying a measly 0.01% in interest. I mean, that's next to nothing. At the same time, the top high-yield accounts, they're paying over 4%. That's literally 400 times more money. It's basically free cash you're leaving on the table.
To put that in perspective, let's say you've got $10,000 in savings. With the big bank, you'd earn $1. One single dollar in a whole year. With a high-yield account, you could be looking at nearly $400. Today, we're going to make sure you're on the right side of that math.
Okay, let's kick things off with the bank that's packed with the most bells and whistles, SoFi. This one's for you if you want your bank to be more than just a place to stash cash. You want a whole financial toolkit.
So here's the deal. SoFi's standard rate is a pretty solid 3.30% APY. But for new customers, they're offering a promotional boost of another 0.70%, which gets you up to a really fantastic 4.00% APY. But, and you knew there'd be a but, here's the catch, and it is a big one. To lock in that top rate, you have to set up a direct deposit or you have to deposit $5,000 every 31 days. If you don't meet that requirement, your rate completely tanks, all the way down to just 1%. So yeah, it's perfect if you have a regular paycheck, but it might be tricky if you're a freelancer or a gig worker with income that goes up and down. The big reason people love SoFi, though, is their vaults feature. It basically lets you create these little digital envelopes for all your savings goals. You know, a vacation fund, an emergency fund, a new car fund, and every single one of those vaults earns that same awesome high-yield rate. It's such a smart way to see exactly where your money's going. All right, next up, what if you hate all that complexity? You just want a simple, no-fuss account from a name you trust that just works. If that's you, then these next options are going to be right up your alley. No hoops to jump through, just solid rates. So for this category, we're looking at two titans of the financial world, Goldman Sachs and American Express. Both of them offer these really clean, really straightforward, high-yield savings accounts for people who just value simplicity and a brand they can count on.
First up is Marcus by Goldman Sachs. They're offering a very competitive 3.65% APY, but their really cool standout feature is their same-day transfers. Get this, if you move less than $100,000 before noon Eastern Time, that money will be in your other bank account the very same day. That is amazing if you need to get to your cash fast.
Then you've got American Express coming in at 3.30% APY. Now, this is an absolute no-brainer if you already have an Amex credit card. Why? Because everything, your card, your savings, it's all managed right there in one single app. Plus, you get access to their legendary top-tier 24/7 customer service.
And we have to give a quick honorable mention to Apple Savings. The app is, of course, beautiful, and it matches Marcus's rate at 3.65% APY. The catches here are pretty significant, though. You have to have an Apple card to even open one, and their big partnership with Goldman Sachs is ending, which leaves the future of this account just a little bit up in the air.
Okay, moving on to what I call the hybrid accounts. These are for those of you who want the awesome rates of an online bank, but still kind of crave some unique features, whether that's being able to walk into a physical location or having some cool automated savings tools. And here we have two of the biggest names in the digital banking space. Capital One 360 and Ally Bank have been around forever, and they're both super popular for a reason. Each one brings something a little different to the table. So if you just hate the idea of a bank that only exists on your phone, Capital One 360 is your answer. They pay a really solid 3.40% APY, but their killer feature is that they have actual physical branches and these cool Capital One cafes. You can literally walk in and talk to a real human being.
And then there's Ally Bank, another veteran, offering 3.30% APY. Ally is famous for its smart tools. They have savings buckets, which are a lot like SoFi's vaults, and this really clever feature called boosters, which actually analyzes your spending to find little pockets of surprise savings to automatically move over for you. Pretty neat.
All right, all right. Maybe you don't care about fancy apps or cafes or smart tools. You are a rate chaser. You just want the absolute highest number you can possibly get. If that's you, this next part is all yours. Let's do a quick lightning round of the top contenders.
Coming in at number 4, we have Everbank with a solid 3.90% APY and no strings attached. Easy. Number 3 is Lending Club, hitting a clean 4.00%, but just remember you have to deposit at least $250 a month to keep that rate. In second place, Bread Savings with a very impressive 4.05% and just a $100 minimum. And the current champion leading the whole pack is Viobank at an incredible 4.16% APY.
Now, what if you're working with a larger amount of money? For those of you with bigger balances, Barclays has an account specifically designed to reward you, not just with a top-tier rate, but also with a pretty hefty bonus.
So Barclays uses what's called a tiered system. You'll earn an excellent 3.85% APY on any balance under $250,000. But if your balance is between $250,000 and $1,000,000, that rate jumps up to a fantastic 4.00% APY.
And on top of all that, they're currently offering a $200 cash bonus just for signing up. All you have to do is deposit $30,000 and keep it in the account for 120 days. It's a really great incentive if you're a serious saver.
Okay, before we wrap up, I have to share a really critical piece of information with you. You see, not all high-yield accounts are technically bank accounts, and it is absolutely vital that you understand the difference, especially when it comes to the safety of your money. So, a lot of big investment companies and brokerages offer something called a cash management account, and they look and feel almost exactly like a savings account. But here's the key. Your money isn't actually held by them. Instead, they sweep it into a network of what they call partner banks. This table really breaks it down. With a real bank, like the ones we've been talking about, you get direct FDIC insurance. Think of it like putting your money directly into that bank's vault. With a cash management account, the insurance is indirect. The company you're dealing with is putting your money in another bank's vault down the street. It just adds a middleman into the process.
Now, let me be clear. This is a very rare risk, but it's important to know. In some past situations where one of these middleman companies ran into trouble, customers couldn't get to their money for a little while. And the FDIC insurance didn't kick in because the partner banks holding the cash were perfectly fine. It was the middleman that had the problem. It's just a crucial little distinction to be aware of.
So after running through all the top contenders for 2026, it really all comes down to one final question for you. What matters most to you in a savings account? Are you all about chasing that absolute highest rate? Do you want the coolest features to help organize your money? Or is ultimate simplicity the most important thing of all? Because at the end of the day, the best account isn't the one with the highest number. It's the one that fits your life perfectly.